When I talk about the hidden tax of a mixed fleet, I'm referring to the operational drag that shows up every single day, but never appears as a line item in a budget. A mixed fleet, such as beds from one vendor, surfaces from another, accessories from a third, creates a friction that quietly consumes staff time, attention, and energy. That tax shows up as nurses hunting for the right equipment, hesitating because interfaces are different, or defaulting to the lowest common denominator use because it feels safe. It shows up as inconsistent workflows, increased training burden, and avoidable downtime. The challenge is that none of this looks catastrophic in isolation, but collectively it erodes efficiency, staff confidence, and care consistency. That's why I call it a hidden tax. You're paying for it every shift, whether you realize it or not. Well, the biggest misconception leaders have about purchasing disparate components is believing that compatibility on paper equals compatibility in practice. Leaders often assume that as long as products technically fit together, the system will function smoothly. But caregivers don't experience equipment as components, they experience it as a workflow. When interface, controls, alarms, and behaviors vary, staff must mentally switch gears every time they enter a room. That cognitive load increases hesitation and reduces consistency. Over time, staff avoids using advanced features altogether because they can't rely on muscle memory. So while that purchasing decision may look efficient, the operational reality is fragmentation. The misconception is thinking you bought flexibility when you actually bought complexity. Well, the real-world cost of asking nurses to learn multiple equipment interfaces is measured in lost time, reduced utilization, and unnecessary work, not just training hours. Operational data consistently shows that when facilities lack visibility into equipment status, location, and usage, staff spend time searching, relearning, or working around equipment rather than using it effectively. That's why our asset management approach exists, because facilities struggle to track what equipment they have, where it is, and how it's being used. Inconsistent interfaces amplify the problem by making equipment harder to adapt to consistency, even when it's available. The cost isn't just education, it's about ongoing friction that prevents standard workflows from ever truly stabilizing. The reason we view equipment as a systems problem rather than a purchasing one is because care delivery happens as an ecosystem. When equipment is designed, tracked, and managed as a system, staff experience predictability. The predictability drives confidence, speed, and consistency. A systems mindset prioritizes standardization, visibility, and integration. It allows leaders to understand utilization patterns, reduce downtime, and remove unnecessary variation from care processes. Day to day, that means fewer interruptions, fewer workarounds, and fewer decisions caregivers have to make just to do their job. Instead of reacting to equipment issues, the organization starts preventing them. Well, for a facility looking to reduce their operational drag, the first step is to gain visibility into what equipment they actually have, how it's used, and where inconsistencies exist. That starts with an inventory, not just of assets, but of interfaces, workflows, and staff behavior. Leaders should ask, where are caregivers hesitating? What are features that are being underused? And where does staff default to workarounds? Asset management data makes those patterns visible and actionable. Once you can see the friction, you can start removing it. And that's how hidden taxes get reduced, not through more training or more purchasing, but through a smarter system design.